present to you epic echoes of Indian eras. We are elated to have you join us on this incredible journey where we take you through our country's rich and diverse history.
We are so happy to see all of you here today, especially our dear parents. Thank you for being with us today and for supporting us every step of the way. It's an honor to bring India's fascinating past to life. We're especially proud to showcase the amazing talents of our middle school classmates who have put in so much effort to make this morning special.
Our classmates have dedicated countless hours to rehearsing, refining every detail, and pouring their hearts into each performance. Their enthusiasm and hard work are proof of how much we all love learning about our nation's history and culture.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests who are amidst us today. We shall start this beautiful morning by lighting the lamp. May I request our dignitaries along with our head of school, Ayushi ma'am, to do the honors.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite our head of school, Ayushi ma'am, to do the welcome address and present the annual report.
Hello. Good morning, esteemed guests, beloved parents, teachers, and my dear students. A warm welcome to each one of you present here today. We are honored to have Ms. Aisha Sirajuddin, Director School Leadership, with us this morning. Ms. Aisha has been an integral part of Aikya Schools since its inception in 2011. Over the years, she has played a pivotal role in mentoring teachers and leadership teams, shaping the strong foundation of our schools. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today. It is my privilege to present the annual report for the academic year 24-25. This year has been a remarkable journey of achievement, growth, and cherished memories, all of which reflect the unwavering dedication of our students, teachers, and parents. Let me begin with the outstanding academic accomplishments of our students, which have been a source of immense pride. Our grade 10 students achieved a stellar 100% pass percentage, with 4 students securing centums. 24 students scored above 90%, and another 23 achieved above 80%. Our toppers Aryan Agarwal set a new benchmark with an exceptional 96.8 percentage. Dhruv Preet Singh scored 96.6 percentage and Prisha Mohanty scored 96 percentage in the 23-24 batch. In grade 12, the results were equally remarkable. Another 100% pass percentage. 11 centums were recorded. 37 students scored above 90%. 43 students achieved above 80%. Our toppers this year were Harshita Dave from Commerce Stream and Mridula Sridhar and Rakshita Sai Karthik Narayan from Humanities Streams, each securing an impressive 96.6 percentage. Our students have made significant strides in competitive exams. Karthik Sanjeev Sarma made us proud by securing a 99.8 percentile in JEE Mains with an All India rank of 116, while Madhurika Rajanagapati achieved a 99.75 percentile in JEE Mains, earning an All India rank of 205 in the Bachelor of Architecture category. Aditya Harish scored 99.45, qualifying for JEE Advance. These achievements stand as a testament to the dedication, perseverance, and hard work of our students and teachers, along with the unwavering support of our parents. This year was also filled with vibrant co-curricular activities that encourage creativity, leadership, and a sense of community. As part of a commitment to providing students with real-world exposure, the Job Shadowing Initiative for grades 9 to 12 allowed students to observe professionals in their chosen careers, gaining valuable insights. Additionally, over 40 students participated in our work exposure program, interning with organizations like CRY, GenX Space, and Trek Nomads during the summer break. Our outbound learning program, field trips, and parent-child outbound trips were thoughtfully curated around themes of adventure, sustainability, and service, contributing to the holistic development of our students. In the month of June, we hosted the much-anticipated Student Council investiture ceremony. It was heartening to see our students actively participating in the democratic election process, with grades 6 students and above casting their votes to elect their representatives. The enthusiasm and commitment displayed by our young leaders as they took their oaths were truly aspiring. July marked the beginning of our service learning program with a focus on eye care. In collaboration with Sankara Eye Hospital, we organized an eye checkup camp for students and staff. On Independence Day, we celebrated patriotism and compassion through our annual fundraiser, Roshni, a Ray of Hope. This initiative raised a heavy amount of rupees 2,86,000, which will sponsor 115 cataract surgeries for the underprivileged. In the month of August, we introduced the Love to Read program to ignite a passion for reading among our students. Renowned storytellers Ms. Shubha Das and Ms. Meenu Shivakrishnam conducted engaging sessions that inspired our young minds. Our senior students also facilitated an interactive genre quiz for their juniors, making the program both enjoyable and impactful. September was a month of innovation and excitement as we launched the Maker Space, inaugurated by Professor Muralidhar, founder director of CMR University School of Architecture. Students participated in a design thinking challenge, showcasing their creativity and problem-solving skills. The same month, we successfully conducted a fire drill, evacuating the campus in just 3 minutes and 27 seconds, ensuring the safety and preparedness of our community. Our annual Inter-School Sports Fest, Triton 4.0, hosted over 1,000 participants from 44 schools across Bangalore. This student-led event showcased exemplary sportsmanship and leadership, from designing the website to managing registrations across various sports categories. In October, we celebrated Exploration Day, where 50 parents from our Friends of Akia community conducted sessions on diverse topics such as mythology, artificial intelligence, self-defense, fireless cooking, and financial literacy, offering students a rich and engaging learning experience. This year also saw a significant milestone for our sports program. We are now a registered school with the Karnataka State Cricket Association, opening new avenues for budding cricket enthusiasts. Akia ITPL truly shone at the SFA tournament, where 198 students showcased their talent and teamwork across basketball, football, volleyball, badminton, and athletics. Competing against students from 458 schools, our athletes brought home remarkable achievements. Our students emerged as champions in under 12 categories boys football, under 14 girls category for basketball, under 16 girls category basketball, and with Shashwat Sirang from grade 8, adding to our accolades for securing 3 medals in swimming. Additionally, our under 18 boys basketball team achieved the runners-up position. Adding to our pride, Akia ITPL was honored with the title Best School in Basketball at the SFA tournament, an extraordinary feat amidst such strong competition. Our students shone brightly in external events with school across India as well. As the prestigious Cryptic Quiz, Ruhan Bajaj and Abhinav Ramnan won the zonal competition and achieved 3rd place at the national level. In sports, under 18, both boys and girls basketball teams secured gold medal at the Vogue Fiesta basketball tournament. Our design students took 1st place at the fashion design competition at the Insight Fest, while our dance team delivered an award-winning performance at the Helios Fest. This year, we are especially proud to celebrate a historic achievement by one of our students. Aisri Sriharsha of grade 6C won the gold medal for India at the World Karate Championship in Tashkent, Uzbekistan on November 4, 2024. Aisri's victory at this global platform is a testament to her unwavering determination, skill, and commitment, making her a true inspiration for all of us. November is a month of celebration and legacy. We hosted the Find Festival, a grand celebration of learning, discovery, and innovation with over 2,000 attendees. This event also marked the inauguration of Akia Nava, India's first purpose-based K-12 school dedicated to innovation, creativity, and design. On November 19th, Founders Day commemorated 30 years of our institution's legacy, celebrating the contribution of our staff and teachers. 10 teachers from ITPL campus were felicitated with service awards for their dedication of over 5 and 10 years. As I reflect on the year gone by, I am thrilled and filled with gratitude. Behind every achievement lies the tireless efforts of our teachers, the enthusiasm of our students, and the unwavering support of our dear parents. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our management team for their guidance and belief in our vision. Together, we have embraced challenges, celebrated milestones, and upheld the AKIA spirit of excellence. Before I conclude, let me turn your attention to the theme of this evening: Epic Echoes of Indian Era. This theme celebrates our rich heritage and history, inspiring students to explore the values, traditions, and legacies that have shaped our nation. Through their performance tonight, our students will take us on an imaginative journey through India's glorious past, reminding us the wisdom and resilience that guides us in the building a brighter future. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, ma'am. As we set off on this journey through time, let the performances take you from ancient legends to modern milestones. Today's show promises to be a celebration of our nation's glorious past.
So get ready to be amazed by the creativity and dedication of our middle school students. Their hard work has truly paid off, and we are sure you'll be as inspired by their performances as we are.
So sit back, relax, and the echoes of India's rich heritage fill the room. Here's to a spectacular morning of history, culture, and celebration.
We would like to welcome you all with a beautiful song. performance. Let the epic echoes of our Indian eras begin. Enjoy the show.
A group of students, led by their teacher, Mr. Nayak, is hiking through the lush forests of the Western Ghats. It's an eco trip organized by their school, meant to help them connect with nature and learn about the environment.
Let's take a roll call. Sameer.
Yes, sir.
Adi.
Yes, sir.
Arjun.
Yes, sir.
Sana.
Present.
Priya.
Here.
Meera.
Present, sir.
Let's take a roll call.
Yeah.
Keep moving, students, and observe the beauty of nature.
Wow, there's so many species of plants here.
Look, it is a Venus flytrap. We saw it in our science textbook. It is an insectivorous plant.
Look, sir, it's a blue butterfly. Isn't it beautiful?
Good eye, Priya. That's a blue morpho butterfly. They are rare around here to see, so we're lucky to see one today.
I love how peaceful it is here. The trees are so tall. Sounds of cheerful chatter, footsteps on the trail, and birds chirping breaks the silence of the Western Ghats. Suddenly, dark clouds roll in and the sound of heavy rain begins.
Uh-oh, looks like things are about to get wet. Dark clouds are here and it's starting to pour.
Come on, everyone. They need to find shelter. There's gotta be something nearby.
Hey, over there. That opening kinda looks like a cave. Should we check it out?
Okay, are you sure about that? What if there are animals or something inside?
Arjun, don't be scared. Sir's with us. Nothing will happen. Besides, unless you want to get totally soaked, it's our best shot.
Alright, everyone, let's focus. Arguing won't help. Let's move carefully towards the opening. Everyone, hold hands and stick together.
They start moving forward through the rain.
Watch your step. There's a thick patch of trees up ahead. We wait there until the rain slows down. Move fast and stay close.
The rain gets louder as they hurry to the tree cover. Mr. Nayak goes to check out the cave.
Wow, I didn't expect rain like this. I'm completely drenched.
Same. I just want some hot chocolate back at camp.
Yeah, but look at how cool everything looks with the rain. It's like the whole forest is sparkling.
Yeah, nature's just fascinating.
Mr. Nayak comes back out of the cave and speaks to the students.
Alright, everyone, good news. The cave is safe and pretty spacious. We can wait out the rain in there. Follow me.
The students follow Mr. Nayak, holding hands to stay together in the storm.
Whoa, this place is awesome. I can't believe we found out after all that hiking.
Yeah, but what if we can't find our way back? It's so dark in here.
Chill, we're safe here. Sir's with us. We'll stay together.
Sameer starts to cry.
Sir, I'm scared. Can we please just go back?
Do not panic. We'll figure this out. Stay calm and stay close.
Mr. Nayak calms them down and starts to observe the cave.
Sana comforts Sameer. Suddenly, Adi screams, "Guys, check this out. This isn't just a rock. Everybody, shine your lights over here." Everyone points their flashlights at the object in front of Adi.
What is that thing?
We should call Sir. He'll know what to do. They call Mr. Nayak, who walks over.
Sir, can you please come here?
Step aside. Let me see.
Mr. Nayak examines the object closely.
Sir, what is it?
Everyone, back up. This thing could be dangerous.
Sir, there are buttons on it.
Don't touch anything. We have no idea what this is or what it could do.
Mr. Nayak examines the buttons on the surface. Meanwhile, the students sit inside the object to observe it closely.
Sir, can you please come inside?
Mr. Nayak goes inside the object.
Sir, I might have already pressed a few buttons. Oops.
Suddenly, a loud whirring sound erupts from the object. The lights flash wildly and the object starts shaking. Students
What's happening? I'm totally confused.
Why is it shaking so vigorously?
I hope nothing happens to us.
Children, just hold on to each other.
What did you do? Where are we?
What is happening? I'm so confused.
I shouldn't have come for this trip.
Thus, we commence our journey back in time to a world that remained untarnished by modern technology. A time when survival relied on raw ingenuity and collaborative effort. Come join us as we explore the life of our ancestors.
Where are we?
Sir, this is insane.
Mr. Nayak turns on his flashlight, shining it on prehistoric cave paintings.
Inside ancient caves, early humans painted vivid scenes of their lives. Using pigments from the earth, these drawings show their creativity and survival skills.
Look at this, everyone. These figures, they look so real. Just like those present in the Stone Age. Stone Age? Wait, what? Did we just time travel?
What? How can that be possible?
I think this is a time machine.
A time machine?
Sir, please say this is... Sir, please say this is not real. I think I'm dreaming.
They're in a state of shock, confusion, and disbelief. Suddenly, they see a group of people wearing animal skin coming forward.
Look at these people. They look like the characters from the series The Flintstones.
I'm scared of the tools they're carrying.
Look, there's a child also with them.
As the students stare in awe, cavemen approach.
Guys, I think they're coming towards us.
I hope they do not harm us. But who are they?
Quick, hide behind those trees. Stay quiet.
The students hide behind a tree, watching the cavemen with wide-eyed curiosity.
A cave woman looks at the sky and shouts excitedly.
Look, the sun is rising. What should we do today?
We need food. I'm starving. Maybe you can catch a woolly mammoth. Yes, let us hunt a mammoth. We will have a feast for days.
Remember last time the mammoth almost stomped us. Let's go pick some berries first.
This was the time of hunters and gatherers. Each day was about survival. Our ancestors lived off the land, using tools they made from stones and bones.
A hunter enters, sharpening his tools.
With this stone, I'll make a spear. Hunting is dangerous, but we need to eat. I agree. The last hunt didn't go well. The animals are getting smarter. We must be more careful this time. We'll get them this time. I've been working on this spear all week. It's sharper than ever.
Be careful out there. We'll collect more berries and nuts, but we still need meat for the winter.
Don't worry, we'll have enough food. But if you men keep chasing mammoths, we'll have to find new hunters.
Female one and male one return with baskets full of fruit, looking excited.
Look, we found berries and nuts. Enough for everyone.
We're going to have a big feast. We are ready for the hunt, but this time we should head towards the river. There were deer tracks there yesterday. Yes, the river is a good idea. The animals come to drink water. If we are quiet, we can catch them by surprise.
The sounds of drums get louder as the hunters prepare for a big hunt.
This spear is too heavy. I want to make a lighter one. We need to be fast enough to catch the deer.
You think you can outrun a deer? It's more than speed. You need skill and patience.
I have made a new bow. This will work better than those heavy spears. Watch me bring down the first deer.
This new axe will make chopping wood much easier. The stone is sharper and the handle is stronger. Hey, I caught a rabbit last time.
Yes, but remember, the last hunt was hard. Don't get too close to the edge of the cliffs. Before you leave, take this. These herbs will help you if you get hurt. The cliffs are dangerous and the animals are fierce. Be wise and you'll return safely.
The land will provide for those who respect it. Patience is the key to survival.
But I want to learn. What if I come up with a better way?
You will in time, but wisdom comes from learning and waiting.
Can I come too? I want to hunt like you.
Not yet, little one. You still have much to learn. But one day you lead the hunt. The forest is not kind for those who rush.
The men leave for hunting and the females continue with their chores.
Today, we hunt a mammoth. Stay close and we'll succeed as a team.
The group crouches, sneaking up on the mammoth. They make growling noises while moving quietly.
The hunters act out their plan, some distracting the mammoth while the others prepare to strike.
We should circle around. I'll distract it from this side.
On my signal, we attack. Stay low and move slowly. Now, attack!
That was close, but we have what we need. Let's take it back to the cave.
The hunters cheer and return to the camp where others cook over a fire.
We did it! We did well tonight! It's hard to believe how much we rely on the men to bring food. We gather, but the hunt is what sustains us.
Yes, but our work is important too. Without our gatherings, the tribe wouldn't survive. We balance each other.
And we keep the fire burning, the tools sharp, and the stories alive. We may not go on the hunt, but our strength is here, in the home.
We'll prepare the meat for the winter, and tonight we'll have a big feast.
It was a hard hunt, but we worked together. And now we have enough food to last us many moons.
Did you see the biggest animal? Was it huge?
It was indeed.
Someday I'll hunt a mammoth, just like you.
Despite the challenges of the Stone Age life, their sense of community was strong. They shared food, stories, and wisdom by the fire.
Dinner's ready. Come and eat.
Let us celebrate our great hunt.
The tribe cheers, joining hands and forming a circle around the fire. They sing, dance, and laugh, showing the unity and resilience of their tribe.
Same da.
Amidst the tribulations of the Stone Age life, the spirit of community triumphed. They shared connections were nurtured, narratives shared around the fire, and traditions transmitted through generations.
Mr. Nayak and the students come out.
Sir, I'm really amazed by how these people lived. Their simple life shows so much confidence. They knew everything from tracking animals to finding plants to eat. Skills like making fire, building shelters, and crafting weapons were so important for survival.
Yes, Arjun. Our ancestors were brave and resourceful. The stories might feel like a long time ago, but it laid the foundation for everything we know today.
Yeah, but I'm still scared. I want to go back. Let's press the buttons again. Maybe this time we'll go home.
Yes, Samir, we all want to go home. Let us sit inside this machine and press the buttons.
Yes, we hope we get home safely.
As they yearn for the safety of their homes, a glimmer of hope spirals through the air. The time machine's lights illuminate once more, indicating that it is time to return. They start pressing the buttons as the machine starts to vibrate.
They begin to press the buttons as the machine starts to vibrate. The whole world around them seems to disappear, leaving only the thrill of the unknown. What powers did this strange device hold? Stay with us as we unveil their next destination.
But sometimes the line between fantasy and reality blurs. And before we could even blink, the world as we know it shifts.
As the time machine shakes and halts, the students, accompanied by Mr. Nayak, realize that they have been transported back in time, landing in the heart of the Gupta Empire around the 5th century CE. In a blink of an eye, history is no longer a subject in a textbook. It is the reality they now live in.
Welcome to the enchanting era of the Gupta Empire, often called the Golden Age of India. A time of unprecedented prosperity, innovation, and artistic expression. This captivating period, which spanned from the 4th to the 6th centuries, was marked by the visionary leadership of Chandragupta II, popularly known as Vikramaditya. India flourished, becoming a beacon of knowledge, creativity, and cultural advancement.
Let's take a look at one such courtroom proceeding of King Vikramaditya. It was the 4th to the 6th century AD, a time when India was at the pinnacle of intellectual achievement, from the invention of the number zero to the creation of intricate sculptures and development of classic Sanskrit literature.
In the court of the great King Vikramaditya, justice was not only about law, but also about grace. Today, the stage was set for a unique performance, an elegant dance that would not only entertain, but also test the moral fabric of the kingdom.
Ah, wonderful! Your performance has left me spellbound. You have captured the very essence of our ancient traditions.
Thank you, Your Majesty. We are honored to perform before your grand presence.
The courtiers nod in agreement and together say,
Indeed, indeed.
I bestow upon you a grant of 1,000 gold coins and a plot of land. May your art continue to flourish.
Minister Hemachandra comes forward with a bag of 1,000 gold coins and hands it over to the dancer.
Here it is. Kindly accept this grant bestowed by the great King Vikramaditya.
Thank you, Your Majesty. We are grateful.
the dancers bow toward the king and leave the scene. Applause echoes through the court.
The court of the great King Vikramaditya is now in session.
Long live the king!
The great King Vikramaditya presides over a court where scholars, poets, and artists present their work. He listens intently, offering guidance and rewarding brilliance. Enter Scholar Arya and Scholar Aviraj, two erudite figures in traditional attire.
Today, we shall discuss the governance and administrative aspects of the Gupta Empire, renowned for its golden age of prosperity and culture.
Please proceed.
Your Majesty, our royal physician Dhanvantri has an important information to share.
Certainly, go ahead.
Your Majesty, I have developed a new treatment for fever and cold using herbal remedies. As there was news of sickness spread through the kingdom due to the changing weather conditions, may I share my findings?
Dhanvantri, your medical expertise is of utmost importance. Please do share your knowledge with our scholars.
Dhanvantri hands over a parchment to Scholar Aviraj. As Scholar Aviraj was about to read through the parchment, Meera came forward in excitement and said,
Hello, I can say a lot about the Gupta Empire. We have read in our history books.
Vikramaditya and the courtesans were astonished with the sudden splurge of the students and Mr. Naik in peculiar attire. The king's able guards come forward to defend the king from the unknown intruders. There is chaos in the courtroom.
Who are you and what brings you to my courtroom?
Oh, you see, sir, we just happen to be in this grand hall, and I must say, it's very nicely decorated.
Hey guys, we're in King Vikramaditya's court. Aren't you able to understand? Oh, really?
I will not be intimidated. Explain yourselves or face the consequences.
Your Majesty, I think there are some secret agents sent from the neighboring kingdom of the Pallavas.
Yes, I too believe the same. Indeed, they are. And look at their strange attire. They definitely don't belong to our kingdom. Absolutely not. We are not secret agents from any kingdom.
I have always strived for the truth. If there's truth to their claims, I will surely recognize them.
Forgive us, Your Majesty. We were on a school trip and somehow reached in here. We ourselves are as awestruck as you are.
Ah, so it's a thirst for knowledge that drove you into my courtroom?
We meant no disrespect, Your Majesty. Please allow us to leave.
Listen you all, it seems you've wandered into my courtroom unknowingly and you said you've learnt about my empire in your history books. Am I in books?
Oh yes, you are in our history books.
Let us confirm this with our esteemed poet Amar Simha.
Your Majesty, I am completely unaware of this mention of yours in any books currently.
You don't seem to study, I guess. Haven't you all studied in your history books about the great King Vikramaditya and the Gupta Empire?
Books? No, we haven't. Now please explain.
Just Google it and you'll get all the information you need about your kingdom.
Vikramaditya and the courtesans are left absolutely speechless.
Your Majesty, I beg your pardon. The kids of the 21st century are very enthusiastic, and yes, they certainly enjoy the visit in your esteemed kingdom. It's a humble request if we can now leave the courtroom and proceed towards our homes, as we're already lost.
21st century?
The entire courtroom is awestruck, the courtesans murmuring among themselves in surprise.
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed your visit in my esteemed kingdom. Do mention my kingdom and your experience here, such that it's written in golden words in your history books. Am I right? Minister Hemachandra?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Kindly show my friends from the 21st century the way out.
Kindly follow me. I will show you the way out.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Goodbye.
The students bow respectfully towards the king, waving to the courtesans, and began to leave the courtroom, their faces filled with excitement, curiosity, and a strange happiness, yet still in awe of the time-traveling experience.
Your Majesty, what do you make of these strange visitors? Their knowledge is like nothing we've seen before.
I see a reflection of me somewhere in the enthusiasm. Legacy is not about personal glory. It's about leaving a lasting impact on future generations.
The adventure ends. But for these students, the history of the Gupta Empire is no longer just a chapter in a book. It's a living, breathing story, one they'll never forget. And so, the time machine whirs again, and the students feel a familiar rush of excitement mixed with trepidation. Let's see where they're off to now.
Now, the time machine has landed into an era of courage, an era of defiance. The students do not yet know the time or place they are in, but little do they know that they're about to witness history take place as India takes its first steps towards independence. With promises of trade and prosperity, the British have gained the trust of the local rulers and the merchants. The students, Priya, Sana, Adi, Arjun, Meera and Samir, alongside their teacher, Mr. Nayak, have landed in the colonial era. Unaware of where they have ended up, they are baffled and petrified by the cruel scenario that they encounter. The students observe as a group of British men patrol and tax the Indians.
Namaste, officers. What brings you to our market today?
Good day to you, Lalaji. We're here to collect taxes and ensure order.
Taxes again? But our business is already struggling.
It's the empire's due. You'll have to.
But sir, the British East India Company already takes most of our profit.
That is the price of protection, my good fellow.
Protection? From whom? We're the ones facing hardship.
Enough discussion. Pay up or face consequences.
That sheer extortion. But we'll have to pay. This injustice won't last forever.
What was that?
Nothing, sir. Nothing, sir.
Remember, loyalty to the crown is paramount.
Yes, sir.
The students materialized reality amidst the bustling markets, witnessing contrast between India's golden past and looming British presence. The year was the early 1600s. In a bustling harbour in India, the British have arrived, not as rulers, but as mere traders.
Wow, this place is so busy. It looks like a port. But where are we?
I think we are in a harbor. And look at those flags. They're British flags. Are we in colonial India?
Yes, Adi, the British are just starting to make their presence felt here. It's essential to understand how they turned from traders to oppressors.
See those men? They look like they're negotiating something. I think they're trading, but look at how the British are treating the Indian workers, like they own the place.
Yeah, it's like the Indians don't have a choice. This must be how they started, with trade, and then slowly they took over everything else.
Look at how they're treating these workers. They're shouting at them as if they're not even human. This is so wrong.
This must be how they fooled our ancestors. They first came as traders, but then they looted our land, our wealth. This must be how they brought India down from its golden age.
Come, students, let's see what's happening over there.
The students observe as the scene shifts to show the British leading a group of Indian men looking shackled and defeated onto a ship.
Oh, hello, officers.
Hello, sailors. These Indians are nothing but insolent subjects. Worse than that, Russell, they're deceitful and lazy.
I've seen some decent ones, sir, but what about the merchants we're taxing? And we're taking their goods without payment. It's robbery if you want.
Collaborators, they're making a fortune off our protection. We're taking our rightful share. They should be grateful for our rule. And our taxes will keep them in line. After all, we're the ones bringing order to this chaotic land.
But sir, some merchants are really struggling to survive. We are bleeding them dry. And what about the villages that we have burned? Innocent people suffered.
Necessary measures, sailors. We can't let rebellion spread. Remember, our duty is to serve the empire. Loyalty above all.
Hey, lads, the boss is calling. Leave. Meanwhile, I'll look after the Indians.
You, do your work properly. Nahi tumhe marunga. All of you.
Welcome to India. The British's hold on our nation suffocates its people. The once vibrant streets, now a hub of resistance and struggle, echoing with chants of freedom.
They came with gifts and promises, but look at them. They're taking so much more than they give. This isn't trade, it's theft.
It's disheartening to see such injustice being carried out here. These people are just like us, yet their rights and dignity are being stripped away so ruthlessly.
The British East India Company established trading posts, gaining control over trade routes and local economies. But their greed knew no bounds. They began to interfere in the politics of Indian kingdoms, playing one ruler against another, slowly gaining power. They imposed unfair taxes, seized lands, and exploited the people.
How could they do this? Taxing people so heavily, taking everything they have. They weren't just trading, they were taking over. This is how they stole our wealth and our freedom.
As the British tightened their grip, the golden age of India began to fade. The riches of the land were shipped away to Britain while the people suffered. Poverty spread and traditional crafts and industries declined. The once glorious India was being bled dry.
They took everything, our resources, our treasures. They drained India's wealth, leaving our people in poverty. They turned our golden age to a time of suffering.
But the spirit of the people could not be crushed. As the British oppression grew, so did the resistance. Whispers of revolt spread across the lands. From the courts of kings to the homes of commoners, people began to rise against these cruel foreign rulers.
Look, people are starting to gather, to talk. They're not gonna take it anymore. This is the beginning of something big.
Quit India! Quit India! Quit India! Quit India! Quit India!
Bharat Chodo, Bharat Chodo, Bharat Chodo, Bharat Chodo, Bharat Chodo.
The fire of rebellion has spread.
reaching every corner of the land. In the years to come, other brave souls will rise against the empire. The names Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev will be remembered forever.
जुल्म के खिलाफ आवाज उठाना इनकलाब का पहला कदम है।
इनकलाब जिंदाबाद, इनकलाब जिंदाबाद,
इनकलाब जिंदाबाद।
Did you hear that? Bhagat Singh and Sukhdev, they will be hanged for standing up to the British. They knew that would happen, but they still fought for all of us.
They gave everything for freedom, knowing that they might not live to see it. Imagine the courage to keep fighting, even when you know the cost.
They are what it means to fight for justice. We must honor their memory by fighting against injustice ourselves.
This isn't just a fight against the British. It's a fight for our dignity, our rights, our freedom. People like Bhagat Singh and Sukhdev, they're not just heroes. They're the soul of our struggle.
Brave men and women, young and old, stood united against the mighty British Empire. And in Jhansi, a queen stood tall. Rani Lakshmibai, refusing to surrender her kingdom to the British, prepares to fight with all her might, becoming a symbol of resistance. These are but the early flames of a fire that will spread across the subcontinent, leading to countless demonstrations, protests, and sacrifices.
मैं झांसी की रानी हूँ, मेरे दिल में है आज़ादी का जुनून. I will die but never surrender. I will not give up my Jhansi. We will not give up our Jhansi. We will not give up our Jhansi.
Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. As the years passed, the struggle for freedom intensifies. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi inspired the masses to make a difference through various unique strategies, including Gandhi's non-violence resistance called Ahimsa.
Ahimsa Parmo Dharma, an eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind.
On the 15th of August, 1947, after years of relentless struggle, sacrifice, and unwavering determination, India finally emerged from the shadows of colonial rule. The tricolor flag was hoisted high, and the air echoed with the cries of Vande Mataram and Jai Hind.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Jai Hind, Jai Hind, Jai Hind, Jai Hind,
Jai Hind.
डाल डाल पे सोने की चिड़िया करती है बसेरा। वो भारत देश है मेरा, वो भारत देश है मेरा।
ऐ मेरे प्यारे वतन, ऐ मेरे बिछड़े चमन, तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान, तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान।
The first sparks of the freedom struggle were ignited. Leaders like Rani Lakshmibai, Mahatma Gandhi, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru stood up against the British. Many movements and revolts spread like wildfire. Each act of defiance, each cry for freedom added to the growing storm.
It's remarkable to see unity among the people. Perhaps this is the first step towards reclaiming their rights.
This is where it all began. The people stood up, they fought back, they showed the world that India would not be a slave forever.
They knew the risks but fought for freedom, for our future. They were the first to rise, the first to say, enough is enough.
We honor the sacrifices of leaders like Gandhiji, who guided us through the darkest times with hope and faith.
This isn't just a fight against the British. Their legacy reminds us that freedom is not given, it is taken, it is fought for, and it must be cherished.
And with that, the students felt a strange sensation once more, as if they were being pulled back through time. They found themselves experiencing a vibrant democracy, diverse and resilient, with the sounds of the past ringing in their ears. With gratitude in their hearts, the students looked around, understanding the true value of the freedom they enjoy today.
Let us always remember the sacrifices of those who fought for our independence. Let us honor their legacy by upholding the values that they stood for. Equality and freedom for all.
We are the future they dreamed of.
We are the voice of the free.
And we are grateful for the freedom we have because of the bravery and the sacrifices of our freedom fighters.
Jai Hind! the students stepped back into the time machine, taking the memories of the colonial India and realizing that freedom did not come to us easy.
And so, the machine tore through time once more, racing beyond civilizations long gone, past the rise and fall of empires, through history's most defining moments.
Do you feel that? This is it. We're almost there.
Hold on tight, everyone. Looks like we're landing back where we belong.
Okay. The machine is rattling and the lights are beaming.
And just like that, the journey through time reached its final destination. The students found themselves back, not in the past, but in the present. And not just anywhere. They had arrived at Bangalore, the fastest city in the south.
Now, Samir, Sana, Adi, Priya, Meera, Arjun, and Mr. Nayak hurled back to the present.
Look, those are scientists working on control panels and consoles.
Guys, we made it. This is ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization. Can you believe it? After all that time traveling, we're standing right where India's future is about to take off.
Finally back to Bangalore, and just in time.
Wait, who are these kids? How did they even get in here? This is a restricted zone.
They weren't here a minute ago. What's going on?
In the background, the other ISRO scientists glance at the students and continue working. Some exchange brief, confused looks but remain focused on their tasks.
Sorry for the confusion, but we're just teachers and students who traveled through time to get here.
Travel through time? You're telling us you time traveled and ended up here at ISRO?
Yes, we have been to the Stone Age, we have seen empires, and now we are here at the coolest place ever, just in time for the launch.
Time travel, huh? That's the best excuse you could come up with. Well, wherever they came from, we have a launch happening in minutes. We can't afford distractions.
All right, stay put, stay quiet. This is a critical moment.
The tension in the ISRO control room grows as the countdown inches closer. The scientists work with an air of urgency, with their eyes fixed on the rocket status display. In low tones, they exchange updates and strategies.
Amid the chaos of ISRO's mission control, the students realized they were standing at the edge of a new frontier, India's leap into space.
Telemetry is steady, all systems calibrated. T-minus 2 minutes. Stay focused, everyone.
The intercom hums as the AI voice initiates countdown preparations, its steady tones echoing through the control room. Around the room, scientists hurry to complete their final tasks, like checking monitors, sharing last-minute updates, and securing every detail as the launch draws near.
Look at the screen, guys. It's surreal.
Final adjustment to the boosters were currently close.
The large screen at the back of the room flickers to life, showing the rocket standing tall on the launch pad. The scientists continue to work, pointing at the screen. Look! We are just in time to see the launch. This is incredible.
All systems are green, we're good to go.
Telemetry confirmed. Everything's in place.
Thrusters calibrated. We're getting excellent readings here.
Quite a show for our visitors today. They're seeing ISRO at its best.
At the control panel, scientists take their positions while carefully reviewing the fuel levels displayed on the monitors.
Fuel levels confirmed. Nominal. Let's make those final trajectory adjustments.
Watch the data feed. A small deviation could ripple into something big.
This is it! India reaching for the stars. What a perfect way to end our journey through time.
They had traveled through the dawn of civilization, seen empires rise and fall, and witnessed the struggle for freedom. Now, the students stood at the very edge of the future, watching India prepare to take its next giant leap.
Whoa! Look at the rocket standing tall on the launch pad, framed against the open sky. The scientists are preparing for this beauty to launch.
Main engines are ready. Backup systems checked. I repeat, main engines are ready.
Everything is green and we go for launch.
T minus 60 seconds to launch.
Lesson made to launch. Let's double check the guidance parameters on display.
Course adjustments complete with tracking is expected.
Every gaze is fixed on the screen, with students and scientists alike mesmerized by the sight of the rocket poised for liftoff.
Guidance data confirmed. We're locked on course.
This is it, the moment we have been preparing for.
Oh my god, this is it! This is it!
They seem excited. Imagine seeing a launch like this as a kid.
Final ground control checks. Everything stable.
Ground systems checked. Satellite alignment checked. We're green across the board.
Synchronizing all timers. Launch will be exactly on the mark.
Primary boosters primed. This will be one for the history books.
Less than 30 seconds. Everyone stay sharp. Let's make this perfect.
Engaging launch stabilization. Hold steady, everyone.
We are on the final approach. It doesn't get any better than this.
Here we go. India is heading to space.
T minus 15 seconds to launch.
Guys, this is going to be epic.
All data feeds optimal. Seeing one of the cleanest setups yet.
Hey kids, we're all prepared for the launch of Chandrayaan 3. This will be one for the history books.
Today, we're sending something extraordinary up there.
Feels good, doesn't it? Knowing we are a part of this.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, engine ignition. 1, 0, lift off. The LPM-3 has cleared the tower.
The roar of powerful rocket engines give a race to the air as the backdrop reveals the rocket slowly lifting off, raining fire and smoke behind it. The scientists cheer softly, pride evident on their faces. The students look on in awe, captivated by the spectacle of the ascent.
This is incredible. We have traveled through time and now we are seeing this moment. This is what dreams are made of.
We've seen it all, from the Stone Age to the future. Now we're watching India take its place among the stars.
You have seen how history and progress are connected. The future isn't something we witness, it's something we create.
The scientists maintain their focus on the launch, some tracking the rocket as it vanishes into the sky, while others verify the successful liftoff displayed on their screens.
As the rocket soared higher, the students and scientists stood together, united in celebration, not just of the present, but of the future they had all helped shape.
Let's go celebrate!
Wait, let's not celebrate as yet.
Why? Why not?
This is just one milestone we have got. Let's wait for a teeny bit longer until the rocket reaches the Earth's orbit.
Solid rocket booster separation initiated.
First stage separation initiated.
Fairing separation initiated.
Second stage separation initiated.
Roger, mission control. We're ready for orbital insertion burn.
Orbital insertion burn initiated. Engine ignited.
Engines perform nominal. Target orbit parameters confirmed.
Target orbit achieved. Payload separation sequence initiated.
Payload separation confirmed. Chandrayaan 3 is now in lunar orbit.
Wow! That's incredible! And this calls for a dance-off!
Hey yo, it's District 78. Gotta get. Round 1. Gotta get. Gotta get. I'll be rocking them beats. I'll be rocking them beats. Here we go, satellite radio, y'all get hit with the boom. Beat so big, I'm stepping on leprechaun, y'all get hit with the boom. Round 2.
Proud, them chickens jacking my style. They try to copy my swagger. I'm on that 2008, you sold 2000 and late. I got that boom, that future boom. Let me get it now.
Gotta get. Final round.
I'm on that supersonic boom. Y'all hear that spaceship? When I step inside the room, them girls go, ay. I'm a beast when you turn me on. Into the future, Cybertron. Harder, faster, better, stronger. Sexy ladies, extra long.
Gotta get.
right after a rocket launch. This is amazing.
Well, I have never seen anyone celebrate a launch like this, but they've got the right idea.
Maybe time travelers have more fun.
Oh yes, sir. We love to have fun.
As the rockets soar into space, the students dance beneath it, celebrating not just their return, but the journey that had shaped them. They now know the truth. Their future belongs to those who dare to dream.
Phew! What an amazing day!
They had come a full circle, traveling through India's rich history and returning just in time to witness its future.
And with each step they take, they carry the knowledge that the past isn't just a story. It's a guide lighting the way to tomorrow.
The future belongs to those who dream, explore and create, and these young minds are ready to take on the world, just like the rockets soaring towards the stars.
Excuse me, could you tell us more about the aims of the Chandrayaan-3 mission?
Chandrayaan. It is indeed monumental. We plan to soft land on the moon's south pole, making India the first country to do so.
What will we find there?
We hope to discover mineral deposits and water ice, crucial for future missions, and perhaps even human settlements one day.
What inspired you to become a scientist?
I've always been fascinated by the stars, but my journey wasn't easy. There were challenges and times I doubted myself. What kept you going, even when it was hard? The excitement of discovery and the idea that science could change lives. Every small step felt worth it when I finally got here.
Hearing you makes science sound like an adventure.
I guess science is a lot more than just formulas and textbooks, huh?
Exactly. It's about curiosity, resilience, and the courage to explore the unknown. And that courage, it's in each one of you.
Remember, the road may be tough, but the view is worth it. And who knows, maybe one day we'll hear of your achievements.
That's amazing. We hope so too.
The students are captivated, inspired by the scientists' words, their eyes gleaming with dreams of exploration.
And with that, our young travelers finally return home with their amazing journey finally coming to an end.
Look who we are the dreamers, we make it happen, guess we believe it. Look who we are.
As we come to the end of this incredible annual day celebration, we are filled with gratitude and happiness. Today has been such a special day, full of amazing performances and moments that we'll always remember.
Getting ready for Annual Day has taught us a lot, especially how important it is to manage our time and plan well. Annual Day isn't just about performing, it's about working together, growing, and learning. It's also about having fun and sharing those moments with all of you.
It is now my honor to invite the Director of Ekya School Leadership, Ayesha Ma'am, to share her thoughts and address this wonderful gathering.
Morning parents, grandparents, staff members, friends who are all present here today. Firstly, I'd like to thank each one of you for taking time off on a Friday morning to be here to cheer your child. So I think a huge round of applause to all of you for joining us this morning. What an incredible morning this has been. Let me ask you, how many of you found yourselves smiling or even tearing up? I did notice as you watched the students perform on stage. Can I have a show of hands? Wow. We also had our phones out the entire time, trying to capture every moment. It's okay, we are all guilty of it. It's impossible, not to want to capture these moments. It was really incredible to see our children perform today. I must tell you, we had about 350 plus children performing here today on stage. We had narrators, we had children singing, dancing, we had student volunteers. And let me tell you, it's not easy. Even I'm here with a paper. They did memorize all their lines, whether it was the narrators, the singers, the dancers. It was amazing to see our students perform, and not to forget our student volunteers who were promptly changing props, without even a miss. I think our students deserve a huge round of applause for this. It's moments like these that show us the true impact of their growth, not just as performers, but as young individuals ready to take on the world. Events like today don't just happen magically, although our students make it seem that way. Behind every applause-worthy moment are weeks of rehearsals, countless one more time practices, and probably a few, can we take a break now please? But it is in these behind-the-scenes efforts that our students truly learn resilience, responsibility, and respect. At the heart of everything we do lies one key focus: the overall well-being of our students. And being a child today isn't as simple as it used to be for us when the biggest distraction was just TV or playing outside. Now they are navigating academics, emotions, friendships, and technology all at the same time. This is why we place so much importance on emotional balance, kindness, and self-awareness alongside academics. Another area where we seek your partnership, dear parents, is in reinforcing discipline and good behavior. As parents, you lay the foundation for values at home, and we continue to build on that at school. Simple habits like punctuality, respect for others, and personal responsibility go a long way in shaping them into empathetic and accountable individuals. Let's work together to create a consistent message, whether at home or school, that values matter, behavior matters. When children see us united in this mission, they thrive not just as students, but as compassionate, grounded human beings. As we wrap up this annual day, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate the leadership team of AK School ITPL, the teachers, the office staff, and the support staff. For an event to come across like this, they have put in a lot of hard work, coordination, and their passion has shown today's annual day what is presented to you. So I would like to thank the entire team of AKITPL for this. Well done, team. Parents, I'd like to thank you for trusting us with your children and for being such enthusiastic partners in their journey. Together, let's keep nurturing a space where they feel supported, valued, and ready to shine, not just on stage, but in life. Thank you and have a fantastic day ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind and encouraging words. You always inspire us to dream big and give our best in everything we do. Before we end, we want to take a moment to thank everyone who made today possible.
Now, I would like to invite Chitra ma'am for the vote of thanks.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Did you all enjoy the show? That calls for a huge round of applause once again. It should reach our children who are in the 4th floor now, because they put in a lot of hours of work. Okay, it has taken a lot of hours for this show to come up. So there are a lot of people that we'd like to thank who have contributed along the way. First of all, I would like to thank the CMRIT team, management for supporting us and let us use this amazing space. I think their cooperation during the entire process has been unwavering. Right from the campus manager to the technicians, thank you everybody, the housekeeping. I think it's meant a lot and we were able to do this seamlessly. We would also like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our head of school, Ayushi ma'am. Thank you for believing in us, ma'am, motivating us to do our best and always being there to cheer us on. To our always ever encouraging coordinator, Swati ma'am, today's show is a result of your planning and enthusiasm, ma'am. Our dynamic CCA coordinator, primary, Ms. Rakhi. I think your support and guidance has been invaluable. To our parents, thank you so much for being our biggest cheerleaders. Seeing you here today, celebrating our efforts and achievements truly makes us proud. And to our fellow students, my students and all of the lovely volunteers here. Can we have you all here? Did you all see I think it's taken hard work for these children to be here. Everything is in place, right from the props to ushering to everything. I think they made sure they were there at it. Thank you to the volunteers. You all did a fantastic job. We would like to thank the campus manager of AKITPL, housekeeping staff, and everybody who played a part in organizing today's event. All right, and now moving on. Now it's time to call out to those super women and men without our cape. Our terrific teachers who made this possible today. Their tireless dedication and effort in preparing for today's event. They were the backbone of this event today. Can we have a huge round of applause for them, parents? They deserve every bit of it. This is our middle school team, the visual art team, the performing arts, and I would like to have the coordinators here with them. And the tech team behind who made sure everything was so seamless. Wonderful. A huge congratulations to each one of you. Can I have Ms. Gayatri here as well? Gayatri ma'am, your support has always been there in making sure our events are seamless. Thank you so much, dear teachers. You deserve every bit of this. All right, and now we will call upon, I think we are done with our visual art and performing art teachers have worked very, very hard behind this as well. If you saw the props, it was the visual art department. I think that goes for a huge round of applause as well. All right, thank you so much, parents. Now we take the joy and energy of today as we culminate the event. Thank you everyone for being a part of this amazing celebration. So as we close, we will...
Ma'am, good afternoon, dear parents. And I would like to give my heartfelt thanks to Chitra ma'am, who's always been there to support us, to run around, and for her josh and enthusiasm. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So as we close, we request everybody to rise for the national anthem.